Under my plan for the economy, we made extraordinary progress. And we put America in a position to tackle a worldwide problem is worse everywhere but here: inflation.
But if you were in Brazil, you'd be paying the same amount for gas at the pump, over $5. If you were in Canada, you'd be paying over $6. If you were in Germany, you'd be paying over $8. So
we're talking about the United States,
around
though.
The world.
We're talking about the United States right now, what the president can do.
How do you resolve the challenge we have right now in the price of oil? The economy, the market, it's not going to be able to recover unless we see some relief, and relief that we can believe is a long-term solution for oil.
Here's how you fix that problem. It was a policy mistake by Biden when he came in. You reverse the mistake. All you have to do is jawbone. The oil market's a futures market. Just announced you're going to license 3 new refineries on the East Coast. Also announced we're going to re-examine the XL pipeline. We're going to give back the leases in Anwar. We're going to give more carbon direction to understand what the costs are. All of those policy mistakes could be reversed by just getting up and jawboning it. You could take oil down below $100 if you got more accommodative towards the future production.
Yeah.
Now, Biden may not do that. That's on him, and he'll pay dearly for that in the midterms.
I have a bridge.
Which party do voters trust more right now?
We might as well call this segment the not surprised segment. The Republican Party, they much more trust the Republican Party by 20 points, 51, I think, to 31. You see it on your screen right there.
This is specifically on inflation.
This is specifically on inflation. If you look at the broader economic spectrum as well, it's basically the same numbers. But it's inflation that is driving these numbers and driving the numbers on the economy and driving the negative perceptions of Biden. And not surprisingly, voters are running the other way, going to Republicans.
I mean, obviously for Democrats, any comparison to Jimmy Carter at this stage for President Biden, it's not a great comparison there.
It's not a great comparison. And indeed, what you're seeing right now, essentially, is that if you look towards what do voters think are important towards the midterm election.
And inflation has got to be what? Number one?
Number one. Yeah. Numero uno. What you see right now, look at this. 48% say the most important issue in their vote for Congress is the economy. Immigration, which Republicans were going to want to run on, not anywhere close. And here is, I think, the big takeaway. When you look at your generic congressional ballot, so put it all together, right? We're going to make this giant stew for you. What do voters feel right now? Look at this. On the generic congressional ballot, we're just looking at the best Republican positions dating all the way back since 1938. This is the best, I repeat, the best Republican position on the generic congressional ballot, basically of all time.
Why are there still arrows in the quiver? I mean, you've been on, a half dozen times this year, and we always talk about what options are still available, and you say, well, those are still on the table. Why is anything unilaterally to bring down prices still sitting on the table?
Well, as we respond to circumstances and circumstances change, we will consider all options. But I want to be very clear. This president has made history with historic uses of executive authority to go directly at the problems we're facing. The president rallied the world and announced and used executive authority to make the largest release from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. He has, again, used his executive authority in creative ways, and we're going to continue to look at all of those ways.
This speaks to a story we've been talking about since the 2020 election, specifically along the border, the Rio Grande Valley, South Texas. We have seen county after county, whether it's in this district or some of the districts to the west of it, where voters have moved 10, 20, 30, 40 points away from the Democrats and toward the Republicans. This district that Mayra Flores won last night, Barack Obama got more than 60% of the vote here when he last ran in 2012. Hillary Clinton won this district by 22 points. It's shifted that dramatically. Joe Biden carried it by 4 in 2020, and now in a special election, a Republican candidate has won it outright. We've seen shifts like this throughout South Texas. This, by the way, is the second most heavily Hispanic congressional district in the United States. We've talked about the potential shift among Hispanic voters. We certainly saw it in 2020. The question has been, would we see it in 2022? I think this result we got from Texas 34 last night definitely underscores the Hispanic vote could be up for grabs this fall in ways we haven't seen in a long time.
It's like an 85+% Latino district, right, Steve?
Yeah, I think that's the second highest in the country.
Yeah.
Madam Secretary, at what point does these prices, what point do they become unsustainable? And two, ironically, does this push us closer to renewable energy?
Yeah, I mean, I think the prices are unsustainable for many people right now. I mean, everyday citizens who are on fixed incomes paying huge amounts of money that they had not anticipated or budgeted for just to get to work. It is unsustainable for many, and unfortunately, there's not a quick fix. However, your point about also accelerating our progress toward clean energy is very, very important.
As David Axelrod says, and he's come out and put his name on it, he said, look, this is a person who, if they win, will be closer to 90 at the end of their second term than 80. And therefore, these are very fair questions. Joe Biden said these were fair questions the last time when he was running. So do you have these questions?
Well, I think everybody is looking very closely now. When Biden does well, he does really well. That gun speech he gave, he was perfect. It was powerful. When he does badly, when he stumbles, you get nervous. And you wonder, is it just a stutter? Is he tired? Or something else there. And so I think that people are just looking. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of Democrats are like, if this guy's ready to go, we're behind him. But if he's not ready to go, he should let us know. I think that's what's going on.
He's in charge at this moment. That's bleak.
That's right. And there's no question that in some big ways, this administration, including the president and some of his closest economic advisors, got inflation wrong. We've heard that correction from some of his top officials, including the Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, saying, yeah, last year when we were saying this is probably going to be temporary and transitory, we were wrong. Now,